Imagine waking up in central Istanbul in an amazing apartment with overlooking the old city, views of the ocean, and you've got mosques and markets, one of the greatest cities in all of Europe, just on your fingertips. Here's the truth, you don't need 10 plus investment properties to live this sort of lifestyle. One great commercial property deal can completely fund it all. And today I'm going to show you how this Gold Coast retail property brings in $80,000 a year in passive income, which can completely fund this Istanbul lifestyle. I'm James Hawthorne and I research commercial property deals to see what sort of lifestyle they can actually fund. Today we're going to break down the numbers and the strategy behind this one deal and how one commercial property can completely outperform 10 plus residential properties. Now let's get into it. Now let's get into analysing the property that's actually going to fund our financial freedom. So I found this retail shop on the Gold Coast. It's got waterfront views, so it's in prime location, right on the water. It's on the bottom floor of a block of apartments. It's got 4 shops on the bottom. The main one is a restaurant. So obviously it's got a good tenant because it's got a lot of supply, people probably coming down. They want to eat on the water. You know, they're living upstairs. So there's always going to be supply of people, and it's a great little restaurant. Views of the whole river, so it's a prime location. They're not going to be building more, retail commercial property spaces onto the river. As you can see, it's a pretty good brand new apartment, good nice commercial property, plenty of functionality to the space. Got a few other little retail shops next door as well. So it's a good location, good tenant. Like how much better can you get than that? Prime waterfront location. There's a fixed supply of property in the area. They can't be building more unless they build up. So it's a good spot. Let's go analyze the tenant. So as you can see, prime location, right on the edge. They're not going to be building more properties there because it's already been built out. And so it's got a significant net income, $248,000 a year in net income. So the actual tenants are paying the GSTs and the outgoings. So all of that income is completely yours. You don't have to pay all the bills. So it's got 4 storerooms and 4 basement car parks as well, and it's 100% leased at the moment to 4 tenants. So there's not much value add opportunity here, but it's a really good, stable, prime location investment that you can hold on to for a long time because the property is going to be continuously getting in more demand. Because there is a fixed supply of property already in the area, and it looks like you can't really build up and build more supplies, so the demand's going to be obviously increasing as it's in a prime location, but the supply is fixed, so it's always going to be sought after property. So we know it's bringing in $248,000 a year in net income. Let's go and see what sort of passive income is this property going to be generating. Now if we look at our cash flow calculator, the purchase price of $3.7 million using a 30% deposit, we've got that net income of $248,000 a year. So it's got a 6.27% yield, which is a pretty good yield. Say we're using a 6.5% interest rate, our repayments are going to be $168,000 a year. So the rent's $248,000 a year, the interest is $168,000 a year. You're left with a positive cash flow of $80,000 a year just from this one property. So this one commercial property for $3.7 million in passive income is going to be generating you the same amount as the average Australian salary, which is pretty good just from holding one asset. And if we look at our cash flow snapshot, it's not until interest rates get to 10% do we start becoming negatively geared. So you've got a pretty big buffer in place, having to go from 6.5% to 10% till you start to become negatively geared. But if interest rates start climbing down, getting down to 3%, you're going to be positively geared $170,000 a year just from this one property, which is pretty amazing. And if we look at our property pay down calculator, same purchase price, same deposit and yield, but using a 4% annual increase in rent. And each year, if we use the cash flow, the positive cash flow to pay down the debt, in the first year, you're going to positively geared $80,000. By year 5, you're going to be positively geared almost $150,000 just from this one property. By year 10, you're going to be positively geared $276,000 a year just from this one property. And by year 12, it's completely paid off, debt-free, and it's bringing in $380,000 a year in passive income just from this one property. That's the power of commercial property, is the rental increases the high net cash flow. You're going to be able to pay down debt in about 10 years, so you're completely owning the asset debt-free, and you're going to have a huge passive income. not these small passive incomes that, you know, retail property is going to generate. So that's the power of commercial property. Now, based on this passive income, let's go and see what sort of lifestyle can we live. So for balling on a budget, I decided to go to Istanbul, one of the oldest, you know, nicest cities in all of Europe. And we've got the 80,000 a year budget. And I found this really nice apartment overlooking the whole ocean, middle of Istanbul, and it rents out for about $5,000 a month, so $60,000 a year. Completely fits within our budget and allows you to live this sort of luxury, really nice Istanbul lifestyle, all completely paid for just by one commercial property. So let's go look at the property now. So I found this 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, rents out for $5,000 a month. And it's pretty small, nice looking apartment, minimalist, very clean, but it's got these amazing views that when you wake up looking over the whole harbour of Istanbul, you've got nice, decent amount of space, probably a bit, you know, lower ceilings, but you've got this amazing balcony outdoor area where you've got views of the whole harbour. You can see all of Istanbul, prime location. Getting completely paid for just by the passive income from this one commercial property. You know, it's safe, you can see the mosques, you can see the whole ocean, you're waking up with nice views every morning. You know, highly rated property, $5,000 a month. You know, you can invite friends over, you can go see, you know, go to the mosque, go to the markets, enjoy your time in Istanbul. And because it's only, you've got 30,000 extra in your budget each year, you know, you can pay for the flights, you can pay for the food and living expenses with that, all completely paid for just by the passive income from this one property. And as you can see, amazing location, right close to all the tourist spots in the heart of Istanbul. So you can't get a better location than that, and you've got views of the whole ocean. And this is completely within our budget, $5,000 a month. You've still got $20,000 left over to spend. So, and this is completely paid for by the power of commercial property. One great deal, brings in enough passive income to fund this sort of lifestyle. That's the power of commercial property. That's the Istanbul lifestyle, completely funded just by one commercial property on the Gold Coast. Now, if you like these sorts of videos, go watch my last video where I show you exactly how commercial property can completely fund an amazing apartment in Amsterdam. So go watch that next, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out.